Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
You're listening to ODFM.
This episode is one description for murder. Okay, so with this one, I got to give a graphic content warning because this episode involves gore, sexual assault, and a little teeny bit of child assault. So sorry about that.
Just a pinch.
We don't want to hear about that shit, but
right. But if it's part of it, okay.
It's kind of like something in here. So
thank you for the warning.
Yes. So if you don't want to listen to this, go to a different episode.
Skip to a different episode.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
We've got Denise, Callie, and her husband, John. And they're just coming back from a trip they'd been on. They step inside their house. And at first, everything, it looks normal, seems normal. But when Denise walks into the kitchen, she notices an open bottle of whiskey on the counter. She's like, okay, a little confused. So she's like, oh, why would my husband leave that out right before we're going on vacation? Like lid off, everything. That's weird. So she calls him in to the kitchen and asks him, hey, did you do this? And he's like, oh my God, no, of course not. And why is it even out of the cabinet? Like he's very tidy.
Yeah. Okay.
So then they realize someone's been in our house while we were gone.
No one else lives there?
Nobody else, just them.
Oh, shit. They didn't have like a dog walker or something?
Nope. Nobody was supposed to be there. So they scramble, they're checking out the rest of the house, but they're weirded out by how this was done because they expect if you're burglarized or if someone comes in your home, they're going to like ransack the place, right? So,
or they would take the whole bottle, not like a shot and leave.
I'm just a little thirsty, just coming in for a drink.
It's been a rough day. I don't need the whole bottle of whiskey. I just need a little something to make it through the rest of the day.
I just want to break into someone's house.
And I don't want to stop at a liquor store, so I'm just going to break into this house.
So much easier.
Weird.
So,
this is very weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's what they think too. They're looking around. They notice a dirty shoe print on their couch. So they're like, okay, that's weird. And
I have to say, I have a serious issue with shoes on my couch.
I hate it. It drives me nuts. I do too.
You don't know where your shoes have stepped. Don't put it on the couch. Okay.
Do not, or counters. Don't put your shoes on the counters.
Why would they be on the counter?
I know. I've found shoes on my counter before. And I
don't even know how to respond to that.
Horrid.
But I made the comment because as weird and strange as finding an open bottle of whiskey on your counter, I am more bothered by the shoe prints on the couch right now.
God damn it.
Personally, I'm bothered. Okay.
A dirty shoe print. And then they notice the back door is like slightly open. So they hadn't noticed that at first.
So this person who broke in also lives in a barn. Yeah. They don't know how to close the door. I got it. Okay.
Yes.
I'm building a profile.
It's like a child. Yes.
I'm building a profile.
Yeah. And your profile might be correct. Then John remembers, he's like, oh yeah, I have guns, like a collection of 7 to 8 guns he keeps in his closet in a bag.
It's like a Ziploc or like a duffel, like
a duffel, like a duffel style.
Okay.
Or a Saint Laurent.
Bag and my brain went to Ziploc, so I don't know why.
He uses a special clutch. It's like Chanel clutch. Yeah, it's got 7 or 8 guns. He checks, the bag is gone.
Oh shit!
That's all they can find is missing. Is that? So they're kind of like, what the fuck? So they call the police, file a report, and police come over. They're looking. There's no evidence of forced entry, even though that back door was open. They think that's how they left, not how they got in.
Huh. Okay.
The pair, they're like, I know who did this. They're sure they know who did this. They had work done on their house recently. Some things were fixed. Yeah, contractors were over. They were fixing some stuff. So they're like, we hired some work done. It's probably the workers.
Okay. I mean,
I guess your mind might go there. Yeah.
It could happen. Okay.
It could. So police, they tracked down the workers the couple had hired and all pretty much had alibis and police couldn't directly connect them to it. But they're like, well, it's not, nobody got hurt, but we got to do this because of the guns.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Yeah.
Kind of a big deal. So with nothing more the couple can do, but hope someone gets caught with their stolen guns, the couple, they just kind of resume normal life. And so this is in Allentown.
I'd feel weird.
Wouldn't you? I know.
Yeah.
In your own home, knowing someone was in there without you.
Okay.
So this is in Allentown, Pennsylvania. One day, soon after they get back to town, they see this disturbing news report in their local paper. And then they notice that it actually took place in their neighborhood. So then they get a little more worried, like, I can't believe this happened. So it was while they were gone. The story is about a 15-year-old girl named Charlotte Schmoyer. Okay. Charlotte had gotten up early to deliver newspapers. She biked her route, pulling a delivery cart along. And a bit later in the morning of June 9th, 1993, this was, a woman along Charlotte's route was waiting for her daily paper. She looks out her window and sees the newspaper cart abandoned between two parked cars. But delivery girl is nowhere to be seen. She's like, okay, this little girl's usually on task. The woman calls the police. And the police then call the newspaper, like, did your girl come back? And they say they hadn't heard from her. They couldn't locate her. Didn't know.
Oh, boy. How old was she?
15.
Okay.
She's pretty young. They searched the area. She hadn't returned home, and that was only a couple blocks away. So they had gone to her house, you know.
Oh, God.
So police come across her bike and her portable radio. I don't know if it was to radio to the paper or if it was like a music radio or something, but.
Okay. Like a Walkman or something?
Yeah. So they get pretty worried.
Okay.
A few hours later, the police follow a tip, and I could not find anything more about this tip. They follow a tip to search a wooded area near a reservoir.
Oh, God.
I know.
It's a bad sign.
It's a bad sign. So they follow a trail of blood that leads from the parking lot into the woods. And they also find a discarded shoe. Then a searcher comes upon Charlotte's body buried under large logs and leaves. Like somebody really tried to hide her, but didn't do a good enough job. Police think like some sicko took the opportunity early morning. Charlotte's out by herself.
Yeah,
they're like, hey, I'm going to take this opportunity. Though no one saw the abduction, but a resident in the area called in a tip about seeing a light blue car in the area.
But cars drive through it.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So I think they just noticed it maybe parked at the reservoir. I think that's what I had read. Her death was brutal. So she had been like brutally raped, during which the attackers stabbed her 22 times and slashed her throat.
Oh, dang. That was very unnecessary.
Really overkill. So while scanning the scene for evidence, they do find a pubic hair on Charlotte's sweatshirt. I know. And a regular hair on her knee. They scoured. Thank God there was like no breeze blowing all this away.
I can't believe with all the logs and leaves and shit that was on her that they were able to.
Yeah, they must have very carefully took everything apart. But
impressive.
It was. Without much to go on, the murder seems to go cold quickly, and the attack put the normally peaceful town on alert.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure everyone's on edge now.
Everyone's freaking out.
Okay.
Denise and John, the couple whose house had been broken into, they're reading this article about Charlotte's horrible murder. Mm-hmm. And Denise begins to wonder, like, is our neighborhood taking a nosedive? Is it a different person? Is it the same person? So she's, but the crimes are so different that she's like, okay, it's probably not the person that was in our house. I'm not going to give credence to it. But what Denise doesn't realize, or possibly didn't connect, was an incident that had happened a year before in her area on August 5th. So on that night, 29-year-old Joan Burkhart returned to her apartment and immediately had that creepy sensation that she wasn't alone.
Ooh.
So she noticed the fan she had left on when she'd left for the day was turned off. And she always left it on because it's hot. And not a lot of people here have air conditioning at that time.
Okay. So they probably had that running all day long. Right.
So she noticed that's turned off. And then she notices cash missing from her table. So she's like, God damn it. She calls the police. And she's worried that Robert's still in her house. Like she's worried he's here. So she gets out of there. Police come to her apartment and they search the inside and out, but they don't find anyone. So Joan lives alone. And the incident, of course, deeply disturbed her.
Yeah.
But other than making sure her doors and windows are locked, there's not much else she felt she could do
at this point. Right.
But just 4 days later, Joan didn't see the man watching her through a window as she began to undress.
Oh.
And after changing, she walks to her living room with milk and cookies, because that's what one does when they're getting ready for bed. I mean, yeah. So she's walking into the living room, and then a man tears through her front window screen, hits her so hard that her glasses fly off her face and blood splatters the wall all at once.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So Joan manages to run. She gets to a different room where she pounds on the wall, screaming for help.
Oh, that was smart, being in an apartment building.
Right. It's a big, busy building. A neighbor a floor above her heard the commotion, but didn't do anything.
Oh, come on.
Didn't call, didn't go to her apartment to see if she's okay. Nothing.
Or even call like for a noise complaint or something.
Right.
Somebody's banging downstairs. I don't know what's going on. Oh, come on.
Yeah. So then the intruder, he goes and turns on the TV and full blasts the sound to drown out her screams. He then bludgeons Joan until she fell to the floor, delivering somewhere about 37 blows. Again, overkill.
Wow.
So once she's dead, this is gross. He either raped or masturbated over her dead body.
Ugh, either way.
Yeah, there were conflicting reports on what happened. And then he left through the back door.
Wow, he really likes that back door, doesn't he?
He loves the back door.
Wow, this is a bad sound clip too. Let's just...
He loves the back door.
Whoops. He just really loves the back door. Anyway.
So police are called to that apartment building by a different neighbor calling to make a noise complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they say they're a little concerned because they heard the noise or music or something coming from Joan's apartment, and it's so loud it's shaking the walls. And I don't know if that meant that was when she was, banging the wall.
Right.
Or whether it was just the TV.
It wasn't a party, assholes.
Right. And the neighbor said they actually had tried to go over and knock on the door, but nobody would answer.
Yeah, she was a bit incapacitated at the time.
She couldn't. So police arrive. They notice the front window to Joan's apartment is open. They gain entry, and as soon as they step in, they see like blood everywhere on the ceilings, the walls, the furniture. They find Joan dead on the couch in a large pool of blood, partially clothed. It had been like a frenzied killing. But even so, no fingerprints are recovered. They're going...
So the asshole wore gloves. Okay,
yep,
got it.
However, they did find a pair of pants. I'm assuming Joan's because she didn't have hers on.
Who remembers gloves and forgets their pants? That's weird. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, this pair of pants, and it has semen on them. So they knew, I know, gross. They knew about the break-in just days before her murder. And police decide, okay, those two incidents are likely related somehow.
I would think so.
Yeah, same apartment. They obviously came back for some more things.
Mm-hmm. More than cash.
Worse. So when looking for suspects, investigators don't come across any enemies of Joan. She's likable. She's got a lot of friends. They do find she had recently ended a relationship with a man who was in the state mental hospital.
Oh, boy.
But this is funny. The hospital this ex is staying at is just across the street from Joan's apartment.
Sorry, that's not where you want to pick people up.
I
mean, I realize it's convenient because it's across the street, but like, okay.
Exactly. But this isn't like a really violent offender type of mental institution. Okay. It's not a jailed institution. Patients are free to leave.
It's a mental health clinic. Like, okay.
Treatment center, basically. So Joan's ex, his name is Jackson Lee Calum. Okay. He wasn't known to Joan's friends and family. It seems she kind of kept him a secret or just didn't share anything about him. Police interview Jackson and they find him very interesting.
Okay.
With how vicious the attack on Joan had been, the assailant was sure to have injuries because it was so brutal. Jackson's helping as much as he can. He agrees. He lets him look over him for bruises and scratches, but he has absolutely none. He's fine.
Okay.
He also insists he had been at the hospital the whole time of Joan's attack, and the hospital's able to verify that. He hadn't left.
I mean, that's a pretty solid alibi right there.
They have to check in and check out, although I don't know how tight that security is since it's an open door type of place. It's
like a clinic type thing. It's not like a...
Yeah. I mean, they can stay there overnight and stuff. It's just... Investigators also learn as much as they can about the other tenants in the apartment building. The neighbors are interviewed, but no leads come of it. The DNA gathered from the crime scene there was entered into the DNA database, but there's no matches.
No matches.
So it seems like the case will go cold, much like Charlotte's that happens a year later.
Dang. Okay.
I know. Just a short time after breaking into Denise and John Callie's home when they were gone, the same intruder entered the home of a woman he'd been stalking.
Wow, he's got a lot of time to like stalk a lot of people.
He's busy. Yeah, I don't know. This is
Let's have like a good day planner where he like writes all this shit down or something. Okay.
Today I am stalking this so-and-so. Yeah. So he goes to this house, and this woman's house where he's been stalking. He finds her asleep upstairs in bed with her boyfriend. And he may have been like, that's another man. I might not want to confront him.
Oh, okay.
He starts looking around, probably doesn't want to leave without something for his efforts at breaking in.
Well, yeah, I mean, it takes some effort to break into somebody's house. You don't want to just leave completely empty-handed. I mean, I get it. Okay.
So he creeps around the second floor and he finds the woman's 5-year-old daughter asleep.
Ah, no. Oh, I meant like cash on the table.
Yeah, like something you could steal, not
a swig of whiskey.
A child. Yeah, a swig of whiskey. Get that instead.
Okay.
This part is really disgusting and deplorable.
Yep.
So
you might have to fast forward.
Yep. I'll keep the details to a minimum.
Okay.
The man grabs the little girl, chokes her to unconsciousness, takes her downstairs and farther away from the family so they can't hear her. She actually wakes up, tries to scream, but then he sexually attacks her and chokes her again, leaves her behind thinking he killed her. That's without any of the details. There's a lot of details. I'm not going to even. Yeah.
I think we get the gist. Okay, cool.
I hate things against kids. So the next morning, luckily, this little girl wakes up. She runs to her mom, tells her what happened.
Oh, my God.
Mom instantly knows because these kids' eyes were red from the hemorrhaging from being choked, and her neck was all bruised. And the family, they look around, they find a screen had been removed from a window. And that was the only sign they found of a break-in. So he is like really good at this.
Damn.
Thankfully, little girl's totally fine, although I mean, traumatized for life.
Yes.
Lived.
But ultimately, right.
So Denise Callie, that one we keep revisiting with her house, she.
From the original, like after they'd been on a trip, the whiskey. Yeah. And the whiskey people. And the shoe on the couch. Got it.
Right. She's cautious afterwards, but she's sure the burglary had been at the hands of those workers. You know, she's still convinced. Since the police had talked to him, she figured, okay, they're too frightened to return. So she's trying not to be too worried about it.
Okay.
And in the meantime, Denise's husband, John, had bought 2 more guns since all of theirs were gone.
How about less guns, more alarm systems?
Yes.
Just saying. The other guns got stolen. So
right. So maybe something else.
Right.
Yeah, nope. Instead, he bought a gun for himself and a gun for Denise. And the pair, they go for the pair. Oh, yeah. Like the dueling
like
pair
the last
of the
story,
yes,
right?
Like, you know, they like to have their engraved. Yeah. Till death.
Till death do us part guns. Right.
So they go for gun training. They hope they'll be able to defend themselves if anything more should happen.
Okay.
And they had good reason to be worried.
Oh, damn it.
On June 28th, just 8 days after that little girl was attacked, Denise Callie, she's home alone. John was away at business dinner that would last probably late into the night. And it was a particularly hot evening. They don't have AC like a lot of the other people don't.
So they have their windows open.
Denise opens a window for some airflow.
This is where the alarm would be really nice. I'm just saying, like a nice panic button, maybe.
Yeah, something.
Okay.
So Denise gets into bed. She's having trouble sleeping. And then she hears something. It sounded like crinkling paper, kind of, she says.
Oh.
So she sits up and calls out, "Who's there?" Hoping that if the burglar come back, it'll scare him off.
Or he'll say, "It's me." Like, what are we looking for here?
Girl, hey.
Just like hey, I'm awake. You're not sneaking up on me.
So she's thinking maybe, they'll get scared away. Oh, all she gets back is silence. And she's pretty sure she hears someone there. And it can't be John, because he would have been like, "Hey, it's me," not been a dick. And
he would have said
tried
something.
To scare her. Yeah. Her stomach drops and she realizes she knows she's not alone. So she's like, fuck this, stands up to leave, grabs her comforter and walks down the hall to go to her neighbor's house.
Comforter? What about the gun? Did she take the gun?
Don't think so. I don't think she took the gun. But this is why you have the gun.
Right. It's the whole point. She takes the comforter. Jesus.
Like I'm cold. So she's walking down the hall, but to her horror.
And now she's bigger because she's got this massive comforter.
Now you can see me even more.
I mean, come on. Okay. Sorry.
So yeah, she's got comforter. She walks down the hall. But to her horror, a man steps out from a closet with a knife in his hand.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
freak me out. No.
And this is where it's helpful to bring a gun to a knife
Yes,
fight.
yes.
Okay?
Then you have the better weapon. But she
Okay.
immediately tries to run, but he grabs her arm. Attempts
He
to
found
stab.
it through all that comforter? I'm sorry. I can't get past the comforter. Sorry. Go ahead.
Drop the comforter.
I can't get past the comforter.
So he tries to stab her in the face, but he only cuts her lip like pretty good though.
Jeez.
But
still.
she's able to actually knock the knife away from him. Maybe that's why she has the comforter. It's like
Oh, yeah. Right?
and she struggles to get out the front door. She actually breaks free from his grasp and manages to get outside. She thinks she's free. She's starting to run away.
Oh, God. I'm picturing the opening scene from Scream. Oh, my God.
Yes. As she's crossing the lawn, she's pulled back by her hair and thrown to the ground. She tries to scream, but this is like a nightmare where only like a gurgle comes out.
It's the opening from Scream.
It's horrible.
Okay.
So this guy's pinning Denise down. He begins to punch her.
Oh, God.
And she bites the arm that's holding her down.
Good.
Yes. So the man gets really pissed, begins to choke her. And the last thing she remembers before passing out is hearing the attacker's belt being removed.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh. Fortunately, a neighbor heard some commotion and turned on an outdoor floodlight,
Thank God.
which may have scared him away. Denise still laying out there, though. I guess the person didn't come out. She regains consciousness, crawls back inside, and calls 911.
She didn't crawl to the light to the neighbor? Whatever.
No.
It's whatever. Maybe.
I know. Maybe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So police arrive and they rush her to the hospital. Her injuries are serious enough that she'd require hospitalization. So he must have really choked her hard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And plastic surgery for her cut lip. So it must have been pretty decent. Yeah. So nurses process her with a rape kit, even though she's not sure if she was raped because she
passed out. Right.
When John pulls onto a street, he's back from his business trip. He sees police cars and cops walking all over with flashlights in the front yard.
Not a good sign.
No, he sees the bloody blanket in the front yard. And
my comforter.
She had it the whole time. She was like, I just wanted my comforter. He's told to go to the hospital. So luckily his wife is still alive.
Okay, yeah.
Denise's rape kit comes back as positive and a semen sample had been gathered.
Okay.
Denise is able to give a clear description of a young white man. Yes, about 5'7". So he's a shorty for a guy. Muscular and clean shaven.
Okay.
So the local newspaper reports on Denise's attack and the fact that she survived. So Denise is sure.
He knows that she's still alive and he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
Crap. Okay, got it.
So she is sure he's going to come back to finish the job, which she'd be so fucking freaked out about.
Right.
The attacker wasn't just concentrating on Denise, though. He's got more things to do. So he's out hunting still.
God. Okay.
On July 14th of that same year, 47-year-old Jessica Jean Fortney didn't realize she'd been followed home. Jessica lived with her grown daughter, her son-in-law, and their 7-year-old child. The daughter, the husband, and the child are all asleep.
Her daughter, right. How old was she again?
She's 47. So, I mean, she's already a grandma. I know.
Okay.
She's younger than me.
Yeah.
The daughter, the husband, and the kids are all asleep up on the second floor of their home. They have loud fans on. Once again, it's fucking hot. So they're trying to cool off their home.
If there was ever a reason for everyone to get air conditioning, it's so they could lock their fucking windows and not have fans on. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah, this is the reason. Yeah, a man slips into the house, finds Jessica in the living room, attacks her, breaking her nose with a weapon.
Ooh.
Then he viciously rapes her, strangles Jessica, and leaves her blood-covered corpse on the sofa with a blanket covering her. So somehow he felt the need to cover her for that one. Wow. He then slips away into the night, thinking he'd gotten away, once again, unseen. Yeah. However, there was a witness. Jessica's granddaughter.
Oh, God.
Had seen the assault and was able to describe the man to police. Luckily, she must have stayed back, hiding herself. Thank God. Thank God, because she would have been definitely killed. I don't know.
Why didn't she go wake up? Maybe she was so shocked.
Maybe she was so scared. I know. Yeah. Can you imagine? Her description, this little girl's description, matched Denise's description of the attacker. Young, 5'7", white, muscly dude. So meanwhile, the Callies, you'll like this. They have a security alarm installed.
It's about damn time.
Yes, and they make sure they lock up every night. So then on the night of July 18th, about a month after the attack on Denise, during the dead of night, the new alarm system blares and scares the couple awake. So
but
once again,
Jesus out of Denise, who's already like,
no shit. God. She's like, I would not stay at that place. I don't know. They'd be so hard.
I would have moved. Even temporarily, whatever.
I know. Hotel.
I'd be like, hi, police station. I'm going to be sleeping on your couch from now on.
Yeah. I'm sleeping with you guys.
Don't worry. Station. I brought my own comforter.
She's always prepared with a comforter. So yeah, this alarm system's blaring. Once again, someone had broken in, but when the alarm went off, it scared them away. He ran out the back door. Back door again. He loves those back doors.
Man, he really loves the back door.
Yeah. So because of the persistence of this freak, police are sure the attacker will come back to the Callies' home. He is on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide to conduct a kind of sting operation to try to catch him. I know. I love this part. So an armed officer is assigned to stay at the home during the night, every night, to wait for his return. Yes.
But what's he going to do now? Because they have an alarm system. He's going to have to find a different...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez.
Okay,
oh, God.
So this is what they plan to do. They leave open only 2 windows unlocked each night. They keep the alarm system off in case he comes in.
Okay.
And the plan is to let this guy come in and then they apprehend him. So he's got to get inside. So,
oh God. So Denise is like bait.
Yeah. So she's all for it though. She is ready.
Okay.
She is like, this motherfucker, I'm going to get him.
I'd be sitting awake all night with my gun pointed.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Denise and John, they're told to stay in their room and that if they hear someone coming to their room without identifying themselves, shoot through the door.
Jeez.
Like, that's what the cops are telling them. So after almost 2 weeks of waiting, this guy's been there every night. This cop has. Police begin to wonder if the guy decided not to risk coming back. Like maybe he got smart.
Right. Maybe he was like, nope, they have an alarm system, so I'm not doing that anymore. Okay.
But then on July 31st, 1:30 a.m., the officer stationed inside the house, he hears the noise outside. It's someone prying at the patio door. And a few minutes later, like he could see this shadow going around. A few minutes later, the front door handle's jiggled, but it holds. It's locked. So the officer, his heart's like racing. He's like, okay, it's really happened. And this is the time.
Yeah.
And he's never shot anyone at this point in his career.
Oh, boy.
So he's sitting in the dark. He can see into the living room where they'd left those windows open.
Windows open.
Yes. It's dimly lit. He sees a gloved hand coming through the window, removes the screen. It's all like so quiet. Officer Lewis, that's his name. Brian Lewis. He was hot, by the way.
These are the facts that our listeners want to know.
From the shows I watched, I was like, he's pretty hot. Okay, I'd let him stay at my house.
John, you don't have to stay either. We got this.
John, me and Brian got this. Don't worry about it. So hot Officer Lewis, he gets a perfect view of the perpetrator because like it's that kind of dimly lit room that guy's coming in. I can't even imagine.
I'm on the edge of my chair right now.
I know. Okay. So he's young. This guy he sees coming in. He's on the shorter side, just as the victims it's described. The window quietly raises open and the man, dressed all in black, eases himself over the frame and into the room. So the officer lets him get all the way into the house because he's like, I'm not taking a chance this dude's going to jump back out the window and take off.
Exactly. And whether this is the same guy or not, this is someone breaking in.
We're going to let him come in. So he begins making his way through the living room, the bad dude, and heads towards where the officer is hiding. Officer Lewis flips on his flashlight, points the gun at the attacker, and yells at him, halt, please. You know, that's when the officer sees the perp also has a gun.
He came with a gun this time?
Came with a gun. I mean, he was going to get it done. So Officer Lewis, he shoots the bad guy leaps away into the kitchen.
No!
While shooting back at the officer. So they're like having a shootout. Denise and John are down the hall. They're hearing this gunfight.
Shitting themselves.
Like, fuck.
Yeah.
So they hide behind their bed with their guns at the ready.
Don't you say comforter.
They grab their comforter and hide. So Officer Lewis, he had unloaded his gun on and could hear the assailant moving towards the back door off of the kitchen. So Officer Lewis runs back to to John and Denise's room, saying, hey, it's me, it's me. Do not open your door. You hear someone else coming, you shoot. Runs back to go
follow the guy
while reloading. He's reloading. And he can hear the assailant in the kitchen. He's wrenching at the back door. Like he cannot get it open because they had all these extra things on it to try to keep him out. I was going to say,
the back door is his specialty too. So I'm kind of surprised. Okay.
He's wrenching with such force that even the couple down the hall can feel the walls shaking. Like this dude is going to get out. He is so scared. So having reloaded, Officer Lewis, he cautiously makes his way to the kitchen. Not sure if the guy's waiting for him or not.
With the gun pointed. Right. Yeah.
He finally gets around the corner and the guy is gone. The entire back window is ripped out. Like ripped out, broken glass everywhere. Dude is nowhere to be seen, but he did leave behind a bunch of blood, meaning he was heavily injured somehow.
Okay, so he either got shot or he hurt himself breaking out the window or something, but oh my God.
Officer Lewis is like, I think I at least grazed him. And crashing through the window, he would have had to get cut up.
Cut up somehow, yeah.
He hopes their one opportunity isn't lost. I know, this guy.
Why didn't they put cameras in their house too?
I know.
Everything, hindsight, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and during all this, Officer Lewis had put out like a silent signal saying that someone was breaking in. So other cops were coming and they were circling the house. Shit. But somehow this guy just got out of there. He must also be an Olympian. I don't know, but he's pretty fucking impressive. So,
like a gazelle.
He's a gazelle.
I don't know.
Maybe a very muscular, short gazelle.
Right.
So area hospitals are notified. Be on the lookout for this young man with a gunshot wound or lacerations. Hours tick by. So cops are waiting and waiting like, please, please, please. Finally, at 5:30 a.m., a young man shows up bleeding badly from an arm and a leg at the ER. Okay. A nearby ER. While waiting to be treated, he must have heard radio chatter about himself.
Oh, God.
And he tries to bolt from the hospital, but luckily someone stops him before he can leave. Like they grab him. So Officer Lewis, he gets to the hospital. He makes a positive ID on the guy who he'd shot at in the Cali residence.
Wow.
Whew, so they had him finally. This man's name is Harvey Miguel Robinson.
Wow.
Calling him a man is a stretch. He is only 18 years old. Still lives at home with his mother.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Yep.
You're kidding.
He's
18 and lives at home.
A high schooler. He seemed just like the typical teen.
Did you say high schooler?
High schooler.
He's still in school. So he's doing all this in between homework and finals? Are you kidding me?
I mean, he is.
Well, a lot of it happened during summer break.
True.
So
it was summer break. You're right. I didn't even think of that. And he had done it while he was 17, too. His first skills.
Damn. He's an overachiever. Okay.
Overachiever. Yeah. So he seems typical teen. Went to high school, had a girlfriend, the usual. He did have a juvie record, but it was for really petty crimes. Nothing to indicate he would become one of the nation's youngest serial killers.
So he's underage. So I kind of now get why he would break into someone's house for whiskey.
And still whiskey. Yes.
Right.
And put a shoe print.
And put a shoe print because he's a teenager. Yeah. And they suck. I got it. Okay.
Exactly. I was like, remember that because this is very
all makes sense now.
Indicative of a young person.
Yes, this is indicative of somebody who hasn't spent money on furniture yet in their life. I got it.
Yep. So he is a serial killer at this point. He's killed more than 3 people.
Shit, yeah.
So Harvey's multiracial, although he normally passes for white. Like he really looks white. But his dad is half black and half Hispanic. His parents had divorced when he was just 3 and he stayed with his mom, though he idolized his father. Like his father to him was
the guy. Best. Well, because he wasn't the disciplinarian. He didn't raise him.
That makes it easy.
He gets to be
fun to be the good guy. Yeah. Harvey's first arrest came when he was just 9.
Whoa!
And I'm not sure exactly for what, probably like stealing or something.
What does a 9-year-old have to do that warrants getting arrested?
Right.
Damn.
I'm not sure, but more arrests pile up over the years for theft and property crimes, things like that. He was hard for authority figures to handle, and female teachers often felt threatened by him.
Jeez. And he only gets up to be 5'7". So
I know.
Damn.
So he's
just a holy terror.
So to me, he was so much a serial killer in the making. So listen to him. Okay, he was a great athlete, good looking, participated in wrestling, cross country, soccer, football. He was also pretty good at academics, very smart. He'd won awards for essays. I mean, not the type of person you'd think would go down this.
This guy's
line.
Scary. That makes him scarier.
He's very scary. So psychologists say he displayed signs of sociopathy at a young age, having trouble distinguishing the difference between right and wrong, and hating authority figures and causing fear in those around him. So,
oh boy.
And this could be why. So Harvey's father, who I mentioned he idolized, loved. Mm-hmm. His name was also Harvey. So Harvey Sr., he's a violent alcoholic. He was a jazz musician, by the way. Don't know. You would think he would be more calm.
Laid back?
I mean, jazz music. Come on.
It's smooth. It's
smooth.
Calm.
I mean, why the fuck?
Really obnoxious to listen to. But anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not calming to me. But anyway.
So maybe this is why he becomes a violent alcoholic who had been arrested for beating his mistress to death. So Harvey Sr., jazz musician, he was convicted at the age of 32 in 1963 after he beat 27-year-old Marlene Perez so badly that she was unrecognizable when police found her body.
Holy cow.
The weapon used to beat Marlene was a blunt object, which police speculated was from a piece of furniture in the apartment.
God.
And investigators think knowing this about the father he worshipped gave Harvey Jr. the will to kill. Like he thought it was cool somehow.
Really? He couldn't look up to anybody else?
Yeah.
Like a TV figure? Different. Anyone?
Yeah. Well, and then I think I read that he had a cousin too that was also in jail, like for pretty bad stuff. So these are his male father figures.
Role models. Mm-hmm. Great. Excellent.
Great. So the evidence facing Harvey Jr. is pretty decent. I mean, Harvey's mom owned a light blue Ford Tempo. Remember how there was a light blue car in the area?
When, what's her name? Charlotte.
Yes.
Yes,
when Charlotte was killed. Mm-hmm. And his blood was found in this car. His DNA matched the samples that had been collected at each crime scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a bite mark on his arm, which Denise had told them about biting her attacker. When searching his bedroom at his mom's house, because he's a child, police found black gloves and a .380 handgun, which was one of the guns that had been stolen from the Callie's house. So, I mean, it's like indisputable evidence. They also found bullet casings that matched the bullets that had been fired at the Callie home the night Officer Lewis got in the shootout.
Wow.
So, I mean.
Okay, yeah.
On December 6th of 1993, on his 19th birthday, Harvey Robinson is charged with all of the murders.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Right.
You're going to jail. So during lengthy trial proceedings, it came out that a sneaker impression on the face of one victim was similar to a pair he owned.
On their face?
On their face.
Jeez.
Stomped someone. The hairs found on Charlotte match microscopically to Harvey, but we know now that that's not really conclusive of a match.
Okay.
But Denise testified as to what had happened to her and was a great witness for the prosecution with all that she'd gone through with all the constant attacks on her home. I mean, it was like insane how much he came back. So a psychiatrist for the defense said that Harvey was dependent on drugs and alcohol. He had an antisocial personality disorder and that he has also experienced auditory and visual hallucinations. So he's like, oh, no, it's not his fault. Dude.
Did he ever get treatment at possibly the place across the street from what's her face?
You would think, right? He actually lived in that neighborhood. So this is why it was happening all around him. He just had to walk to most to do things.
Right, because he had to borrow his mom's car. So when he didn't have... when he didn't have a ride, he had to go commit crimes on foot.
Yeah. So that's why he was fast as a gazelle.
It was, right. Plus that cross-country business.
Right. He was in cross... and
a wrestler.
Yeah, he was super fit. Some of Harvey's friends and family actually testified in his defense, explaining he's a good friend, but he was disadvantaged, having poor male role models who had been criminals. But come on.
Dude, I know a lot of people who had poor male role models.
Totally. They don't go around killing and raping people constantly.
Exactly. I mean, That's a stretch.
Total stretch. So on November 10th, the jury sentenced Harvey Robinson to die by lethal injection. Victims' relatives were crying, but Harvey himself remains emotionless.
Wow.
Dead inside. He's imposed with separate death sentences for all 3 murders, but a judge later vacated 2 of them on technical grounds. Not sure. Then in March of 2005, the U.S. Supreme Court rules juveniles 17 and under are ineligible for the death penalty.
But he was 19 when he was arrested, and he only committed some of them at 17.
He had killed Joan Burkhart when he was 17, but that death sentence had already been vacated and changed to 35 to life for that particular crime. But he's still serving another life sentence as well as a death sentence for one of the other murders, along with 200 years for rape and other charges.
Woo!
But this dude, he kind of reminds me of Ted Bundy. So smart that he was getting going as himself almost to defend himself. He was so good at getting new cases done. He would write in these really well-written letters. Such a smart guy. So much potential.
So he could have just become a lawyer.
He could have become something, but he just wanted to kill. So that is the story of Harvey Miguel Robinson.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah, he's scary.
So scary. He could have been
he got caught, thank God, by the time he was 18, because he could have had a much longer career.
I think he would have. I mean, he's so good at this, and he didn't
even get out of his neighborhood. Imagine if he had branched out. I mean, if he had gone to college, and he would have gotten into college.
He would have. He was so smart.
And then imagine how many co-eds would have been within walking distance.
It would have been a nightmare. Thank God he got caught.
And dorms and stuff aren't locked. I'm sorry. They're not, especially not in the 90s.
Parties, constant, no. And think of he was so good at breaking into people's places. It was insane how good he was that young. So it makes you think, holy shit, it would have been bad.
I have goosebumps thinking about what could have been.
I know. Especially having no qualm about attacking little kids and stuff. Fucking freak. Would you like to hear my sources?
Yes. What did you watch? What did you read?
Okay. So one of those sources, Your Worst Nightmare. That's one of those shows. Definitely is.
Appropriately titled.
Yes. It was. Season 2, episode 4, While She Was Sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did like to do it then. Serialkillercalendar.com. I found some good. There's actually good info here.
Right.
Murderpedia, allthat'sinteresting.com, Wikipedia, criminalminds.fandom.com. Probably did a episode about.
Yeah, right.
Crimelibrary.org, teenkillers.org. And
there's a teenkillers.org?
Isn't that horrible?
Kind of surprised we haven't come across that earlier.
I know. Anyway. We're going to have to check it out. The show Dead of Night, an episode called Kill Me Twice.
Oh, jeez.
And that was about Denise.
Yeah, right.
So
I would have been wearing a spiked bodysuit or something. Please come get me. You get close to within 3 inches and you're going to impale yourself.
Freddy Krueger.
I would have done. Yes.
Trying to go to the bathroom is really difficult. Has to have a drop waist thing so that the old long johns. So you don't kill your butt.
Seriously.
So funny.
Wow.
Isn't
that was good.
Insane. All right. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. For another fun-filled episode.
Yes. Season 12. Fun-filled episodes.
Hey, Oddies. Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.